All right, this is going to be in English. I have a very interesting stuff to talk about. It's about the Ukrainian war and kind of a history of it partially, and that goes to the Obama administration. The Who knows that most of the American military contracts are done officially through a tender. And there was accusations already that Trump is going to change it in a way. And I'm not exactly defending anybody. I'm just want to state and show something from history that would kind of maybe put your mind in a different direction. So here we go. Just before 2014, before Russia took over Crimea, there was a small situation in Sevastopol, which is a home for a Russian fleet and one military air force base. So somewhere a year or two before that, the Pentagon announced a tender to redo a school number 5, former high school number 5 in Sevastopol, Crimea, in the office buildings and a large plaza. And what actually Russians calculated that this can be a drone station and like a base for drones, and it was really, really close to the Russian Black Sea Fleet, and at the same time really close to the Air Force base. The thing there is very simple, that who knows history, the drone warfare, it actually was developed in Russia, in Soviet Union in 1930s. But it was never developed to the point of a force, but the tactics and this flock of drones, where every single drone was designed to perform a specific role within this flock. It was done in Russia periodically, but it was never achieved as a force, military force. There was never built, but the theory was done in former Soviet Union. So when Russians saw this, they read it momentarily that somebody is building, NATO, not somebody, but NATO is building a drone station next to the Air Force and next to the fleet. Okay? In case of war, a lot of drones in the air can simply paralyze the functions of the Air Force base and the Black Sea Fleet. After Russian takeover of Crimea, there were a lot of bloggers, that Russian-speaking bloggers, that actually had an opinion that de facto this attempt of NATO forces to build a drone station in Sevastopol near the Air Force base and near the fleet made the decision of Russian Federation to attack a specific time and neutralize this possibility and make sure that the fleet and the Air Force are safe and operational. So de facto, here's the deal. By finding out that the tender was done for this and this, they calculated the time and said, we have to attack now, otherwise they're going to be NATO superiority within this area, and they're going to stop operations of the Air Force and the fleet in this area. That's why they simply attacked and took over. They sent the Spetsnaz, they called them green people. They were special forces dressed in green with no signs who they work for. It was like a incognito force, but the point is, it's clear, was at the time the Russian Spetsnaz called. It's special forces at the time. So here's the deal. It was Obama administration, and now we have to look simple way. When we talk about tenders, tender contracts, Pentagon de facto tells everybody, we have this and this thing to do. Please come to us and offer you a price for your labor. But they don't do it just price of a labor. They put it like kind of in the limelight, object of building of stuff. So if there is a base to be built, everybody will know there's going to be base to be built, because everybody is invited to make their offer for how much money they're going to build this base. So the way I see it, the decision at the time, almost more than 10 years ago, for this small base in school number 5 in Sevastopol, actually made a difference of military engagement and result of Russian Federation taking over Crimea, because they would not be able to do so if they didn't have knowledge of that. This is first, and the same thing, as I said, the Russians are de facto, it's motherland of theory of drones. So they said they read it momentarily. They knew drones are coming, and they needed to react. So in defense of Trump, there's people saying they're gonna start doing contracts that are not exactly clear for a lot of people. As I said, Trump, he's not uneducated person. Remember, he's a military person. He finished military school. When we have military school, doesn't matter how old you are, you have knowledge that comes to you through everyday interactions. It's a knowledge that you develop further and further through your mind, and you become, in a way, a person with developed tactics in military operations. This is what Trump is. Joke about him, you can say whatever. You don't like him or you like him, it doesn't matter. But this particular case, when the guy takes a look at the situation, he will change it. And unfortunately, openness in the military, it's not going to be first priority from this moment on ever, because all the militaries in the world before were based on secrecy. And if somebody broke this rule, and this is just one of the examples, that it's de facto broken rule of secrecy of military contracts. The way I see it, we will have very soon in the United States complete secrecy of any military contract, of any military tender, or police tender, or special forces tender. Say whatever you want, but in this particular case, he's defending a lot of people. It's not just about Russia, it's about different countries, against these countries.